Okay.
This will keep rolling. Okay. So yeah, I'm really good. Oh shoot. It's right here. So we started with like getting to know you and who you are. Let me pull up my notebook. And like you were supposed to do homework that talked about your outcomes. Like what were some of your outcomes for what you wanted to get out of this event? Okay. And one of the volunteers that's been to like 20 something things was like, oh, like you did your homework, right? Like what are the outcomes that you have? And I was like, yeah, of course I did my homework. Like, and I was like, well, I want to learn something new. I want to be open to new experiences. I want to stay engaged. I want to have some tools when I walk away from here that will make my personal relationship as well as my professional relationships more positive. I want to learn to be larger than life. And I want to annihilate my debt. I want to learn how to annihilate my debt. And she was like, those are great. Like just rattling off. I like the verbiage is different, but I rewrote them and those are my outcomes. So those are, and like the first thing Dani said was one of her like millionaire meetings that she went to where she was learning things was her decision was if it takes her 20 years and she failed by 90%, so if she only made 10% of the people that she was watching speak, she would still be better off than where she was at that point in time. And I'm gonna like be a hot mess. And that hit home so hard because it's true. Because if I worked 20 years from right now, I will be 50. And I failed Dani's income, which it's not even Dani's income because she's a multimillionaire. If I fail a millionaire's income by 90%, so if I only make 10% of what that person makes, I will still make more than teaching and coaching put together. 20 years from now, I will not make 10% just doing what I'm doing. And it hurt so. It hurts so much to think about that. It hurts so much to think about that. And I keep trying to channel in to my own pain points because there was something, I really want to find this, but it might take me a while. There was something else she said about being comfortable and whether like you can be comfortable being in the situation that you're in, which is uncomfortable, or you can get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that was another thing that just like struck a chord. Like, man, like that's my life. Like I live in this world where I'm like, yeah, I have this awesome outlet. I have this awesome situation that like will provide me everything I need to provide me with. And more, and I can be out of my discomfort of what I'm living in. But right now, I can't hit my pain points to the point where I get uncomfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Like I'm comfortable. I'm not comfortable with the fact that I've got all this student debt hanging over my head, but I'm comfortable with the fact that I've got a job that provides me with a steady income. I've got more than one job that provides me with a steady income. I've got health benefits. I've got like all these things. I've got a boyfriend who makes a lot of money that if we were to get married, like I would still be detrimental to our finances, but his finances would be okay. They would secure us to the point where we could own a house. And it just like sucks to say that, to like admit that I have to rely on somebody else. To feel that comfort, that level of comfort. Like I don't like that. I don't like having to admit that I have to feel that level of comfort. So, there are a few other things that we went through, like personally at first, that we had to like, she gave us like the 4 steps that these millionaires gave her like mentor, her first mentor gave her, which was like, no excuses, because excuses are just a well-planned lie. And like these I've all heard on those talks that you sent us, Erin, after you went. And like, what are your excuses? And openly admitting your excuses, and knowing that your excuses are rooted and they feed in fear. Like they're rooted in fear and they feed fear. Like that's what your excuses do. And like she talked a lot about the 98% of people that are living their lives versus the 2% who hit success to the multi-millions, to the not have to worry about anything in life. And she said the 98 percenters, that's what she calls them, focus on why they're failing, and they continue to complain about it, and they fight in silence, and they manipulate, and they have all these different things. And that's what 98 percenters do. Like they're either at the bottom of the 98%, the middle of the 98%, or the top of the 98%. Like I would consider myself right now somewhere between the middle and the top of the 98%. Like I'm college educated. I have my master's degree. I have a full-time job. I have friends and a support system. I have a family that supports everything that I want to do, even though they don't really, they're good about being like in my corner, even if they don't necessarily understand or agree, like with Beachbody and that kind of stuff. Like they supported me to get my master's degree. They pushed me to go on and do the things that I want to do. Like I have loving families. I don't have a family that beat me or did any of the stuff that Dani's went through. So like that was one thing. And then like she talked about understanding why you're here and making sure that your vision must be bigger than you, or you fall back on your excuses. And that was like another dagger, because I'm like constantly like and I self-admit, like one of the things she talked about was like my life would be great if, and most people fill in the if with like, if so and so would do this, if in my example it would be if Spencer would support me. And I don't typically put that on him. I wouldn't, some of the time, yes, and like in close quarters, but like 8 out of 10 times, I would say that I self-blame. I'm pretty good at self-reflecting. And it's like, my business would be better. My business would be great if I would get over my damn self and do what I know is possible. Like follow the rules, like follow the instructions. Like Summer, Erin, freaking Carrie, and Megan have laid out everything that you need to do. We have Courtney, Bell, they have laid out everything that we need to do to be successful in this business. And I make excuses about why I can't do that. There's a 17-year-old sitting in the crowd that went to Dani in Ohio 6 weeks ago. She's made $5,000 since she went to Dani 6 weeks ago. She's 17. What? Like, what? Get over yourself. Get over your excuses. She said, like, if you're 50, you still have at least 40 years left to live. Like, get over it. That's not an excuse. Like, nothing is an excuse anymore. Like, your age is not an excuse. Your gender is not, like, get over it. And I am the queen of excuses. So, Jesus, there's so much. So she said, like, in order to rise up to that 2%, you must get uncomfortable. And I don't know what my problem is with Beachbody and getting uncomfortable. Oh, this is convenient. Because, sorry, that's like gross and rude, but I don't know what my problem is with getting uncomfortable, because like what Cassie said at Summit about coaching swim is so true. Like, I did not swim. I did not I would never claim that I swam competitively. Like, I swam in high school. It was a joke. I dove 2 out of my 5 days of practice. Like, I studied the sport of swimming. I have gone to trainings to learn what it takes, what I need to do to get better at being the best coach. And I'm not the best, but I'm like, in my world, I'm pretty up there for somebody who never swam a real competitive meet. Like, I have what it takes. I need to change my mind about, for coaching swim, it took somebody that I despised looking at me and being like, you don't even write practices. You don't even know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, really? Watch me train these 11-year-olds to be faster than the 14-year-olds you are working with. Like, that's what it took. And I don't know why. I don't know why, because it's all laid out in front of me. Like, I'm watching people be more successful than me, and I'm not jealous. Like, that's not it. Like, I guess I would say I'm envious because I know that I'm more than capable of hitting what they're doing. I know that I am. I can do this, but I haven't ever gotten to the point that it took me for coaching swim, that switch that was like, screw you, screw your doubts, screw everything you're telling me and everybody else around me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it better than you ever could. And I did. And I'm stuck with that. So I don't know why coaching swim, like beach body coaching, because I do relate them so closely. I don't know what's holding me back. I'm still working through all of that. So we got to the point where we had to talk about, there's like so much more before that, but we got to the part where we had to talk about relationships and your ego. And I'm just gonna read some of this. She said, your income follows your personal development, and that is because your ego is constantly in your way. You can learn to get fit. You can learn to move beyond your circumstances. You can learn to build better relationships. You can learn to do what you don't think you can, coaching swim. You can learn to live life by design instead of by default. You can learn skills that pay more than your bills. But ego will keep you broke for the rest of your life. And ego is a liar. 98%ers think that their situation is unique. I'm the only one in $100,000 of student debt. I'm the only one with a boyfriend who's not supportive of my independent entrepreneurship. I'm the only one who has parents who are 31 years married but living apart and barely know each other. Like, there's so many things that, like, you tell yourself, but you're not the only one. You are not unique. You are not unique. And you can't keep handling your circumstances the way that you have in the past. If you stop learning to be better about your circumstances, then you're not learning, you're dying. If you're not living, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's what Dani says. And at that point, my notes say, I've been more committed to Team Beachbody than any other job in my career. And for what? And for what? I believe in the product. I believe in the community. I know the success that it shows, the opportunities that it has. I have been so committed to this. And I don't mean to say I'm committed like I've done everything I needed to do. I have not done everything I needed to do, but I've never given up on Team Beachbody the way that I did the why when I was coaching and I was miserable and I hated my job, the way that I have in teaching when I was driving to job interviews this past year going, why am I even going on these interviews? I hate teaching. Like, I've never had the doubt about Beachbody the way that I have any other career, any other job. So she talked about like, why don't I wrote this down because I'm a teacher, but she was like, why don't we teach mental, emotional, and spiritual development in school? Like, why is that not being taught? Those are lifelong lessons. And she's got a book for like growing the minds of the new generations. I don't remember the title of it, and I like couldn't.
It's something like molding the next generation or something. I have it. It's yeah.
I want to buy that, and I want to buy her script book. And they keep saying like, oh, there's limited supply. Oh, well, you live an hour away. Don't tell me there's limited supply. Like, whatever. I'll order it off your website if I can't get it here, kind of thing. And she talked about spiritual development versus people who just regurgitate information, like from their scripture, whatever that is, and how self-righteous. Like, spiritual development is completely different than regurgitating information that you hear from your church, that you read from your book of God or whatever. Like, those are different things. And regurgitated information is just you being self-righteous. And like, that struck a nerve with me because I'm not a very church person. And I think the reason that I'm not a church person and I've lost touch with spirituality is because of feeling like those people are self-righteous and are feeling like they're just spitting shit out at me. And I was a Catholic school student. Like, I heard it from the Catholic point of view, and I'm not Catholic. I was baptized Episcopal. I was the like babysitter in the church of my grandparents, which is like congregational. Like, I've seen many different forms of church, and none of them make me comfortable. And like, so that was like for somebody like her who she does talk about her religion, but like not in any way, shape, or form to the extent that I thought she was going to, which I'm really thankful for. That was something that she said that I was like, damn, girl, like, yes. Like, yes, like, I understand, I appreciate, like, spiritual development to me is connecting with other humans on a level that you don't normally. Spiritual development is not somebody spitting out at me John 3:16. And literally that might be the only thing I could ever quote from the Bible, like, is literally the words John 3:16. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my thing. And I'm not, please don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not hating on people who that is their thing, but like, that struck a nerve. And then she went on to talk about ego and how, I'm just going to like list the things. Like, ego will keep you broke. Ego loves to blame others. Ego is always right. Ego never admits its faults. Ego is living up to someone else's expectations. And that was like, done. Like, you know me, like, what? Like, stick a knife in me, I'm done. Ego is jealousy. Ego is being fake. Ego is your shyness. Ego is negative self-talk. Ego is controlling. Ego is being the martyr when you're like, oh, it's me. Like, ego is perfection. Ego is your excuses. Ego is justification. Ego is defensiveness. Ego is easily offended. Ego is manipulation. Ego is sarcasm. Ego is laziness. I was like, oh, you just nailed 3 of me on the head. Like, bing, bing, bing. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Dani. Thanks for that. Your pride and your arrogance hide your insecurities and your fear. And like, yup. Thank you. Yup. Business. So at another point, she talks all about how business is just relationships. Like, you don't get money from the bank. You don't get money from major corporations. Corporations get money because people give them money. So let me tell you what, business is relationships. If you're not building and developing your relationships, you're not in business. Period. End of story. Hello, you go to Marshall's because it's fun and you want to spend money? But if you had a bad experience there, you might not go back to that Marshall's. You go to a different one or whatever the case is. But like the relationships that you build is what is building your business. It's not just about forming people. It's not just about communicating and messaging like, hey girl, what's up? Like, no. You're building relationships because every major business in the world, in our world, is building relationships and finding success because they're building relationships. Like, period, end of story. Walmart is going out of business in the next, it'll happen in our lifetimes, and Amazon is going to kick their asses out of business because Amazon goes, oh, you didn't like what happened? You something screwed up with your order? You keep that. We'll send you another one, and we'll eat the cost. Like, that's good customer service. Hello, we have that in Beachbody better than anybody. It's called the 30-day money-back guarantee. Who doesn't want their money back? Like, it was just like dumb real. To quote my kids, like dumb stupid. Like stuff that she's saying, I was like, boom, 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 boom. Like, oh. At one point she asked, like, were you put here? Like, whatever your belief is, but were you put here by whomever or whatever to be okay? And I was like, fuck no. Like, I'm not, sorry, I'm going to swear on this, so we should explicit it. A little E. But like, were we okay? Like, no, I wasn't here to just be okay. Like, I'm better than okay. Thank you very much. So.
Did she talk about forgiveness yet?
Yeah, yes. So that was the next thing. So the next thing she had us do was think about asking this daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, whatever it's going to take. But what has changed in me? What has to change in me in order for my life to change? And this was hard, and it's still hard for me to answer. I'll tell you what I answered, but I still think I'm working on digging through this. Like, I don't think I was ready. So we turned around and we had a circle and we held hands. Every person in the circle had to answer, what has changed in me what has to change in me in order for my life to change? And you have to first of all, you have to recognize what's stopping it. Second, you have to confess it. You have to say it out loud to yourself, to whoever is going to make you feel like it's a sucker punch. And for us, it was talking to strangers. And then the third thing is you have to forgive it. So we stood in the circle, we held hands, and everybody went like, in order to become more successful, in order to get better at being yourself, you have to recognize what has to change in me in order for my life to change. You have to say it out loud. You had to take your ego, physically reach down to your ankles, grab your ego, and say, I throw my ego out the door. And then you had to say something about like being safe. Sorry, I don't really, Erin, maybe you can help. But like you had to tell your group that you were going to be like forgiving and or open or you were gonna be a safe person this weekend. Like you weren't gonna be judgmental,
right?
And then it moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I said, like I said, I'm still working through this, but the thing that I said, because I was, and then she was like, stop thinking while you're in that circle and listen, make connections. Don't think about what your answer is going to be. Listen to what the people are saying to you right now. And so she said, so I said, I need to let go of all of my excuses. And I still think that's a good one for me because I recognize that I have excuses and that I make excuses, but I like bury that. Like I hold that in, and I'm not as forgiving to myself for having these excuses. And I think if I could, when I can get to the point of being accepting of my excuses, I won't have them as much. And so then we went on to talk about forgiveness and how forgiveness changes relationships, it changes your environment, and it changes yourself. And you can't love others if you don't love yourself. And like, I hold a lot, like, so I'm going to move forward to move backwards. But so you had to believe in yourself and believe in a better future for yourself, or you will continue to sabotage. And that's what I do. I self-sabotage. And she told you to write like your name down, and then you had to write one name. And I didn't write just one name, but the first name I wrote was my friend Shannon, who joined It Works and texted me, and I remarked about that. And she and I have since talked about that and like forgiven one another and been okay. But it's obviously still something that has like eaten away at me. Oh, and they play music and it like makes you miserable because you have to like, not miserable, but like you have to sit there and listen to these songs that are so meaningful, and like it just, oh, it was rough. Obviously,
I'm only laughing because like I'm reliving it like as you're hearing it, because yes,
like, you know, like I sat there through probably a minute and 30 of the song. At first it was like, okay, I can hear this, like, yeah, oh, it was talking about like being free and running free, and I was like, oh my God, I want to be free so bad of my dad. And I was just like bawling. They're walking around with tissues. Like, so then they play another song because the first one wasn't bad enough about forgiveness. And she like asked a question about beating yourself up, and is beating yourself up creating success? And how unforgiveness is the root of, you name it. Unforgiveness is the root of every single problem. And so anyway, so I wrote my friend Shannon's name down, and while the forgiveness song played, you had to literally say, well, you could say it in your head, but you could say it out loud too, but you had to like say to yourself, like, Kate, I forgive you, I honor you, and I release you from what you're holding on to. You had to say that about yourself, and then you had to say about the person whose name is you wrote down. And so like during lunch, I didn't get a chance to like get in touch with Shannon, but I called her later tonight. Well, I texted her and I was like, hey, when you get a chance, can you give me a call? And she was like, yeah, is everything okay? And like I said, she and I have texted already and like cleared the air like about how we love each other, and that's more important to us than anything else. And I was like, yeah, everything's good. I just would love to chat with you. We haven't talked in a while. And so she called me and I was like, Shan, like, I just need you to listen. I was like, first of all, like, I know that we talked about what happened when you told me that it joined It Works. And I know that I said, I'm sorry. And I know that you said you forgive me. I know, I heard it, but I need you to hear this from me, like speaking. And I said, like, it's been on my mind still. I said, I'm sorry, and I'm asking your forgiveness because how I reacted when you told me that you were joining Kara and It Works had nothing to do with the fact that you joined It Works. It had everything to do with the fact that I couldn't accept that it felt like another rejection to me. And when somebody rejects me, I beat myself up about that. And I said, it has nothing, like, if you had told me no, like, you don't want to join Beachbody, like, that, it would have rolled off my back. But the fact that you went and joined something else, like, I want you to be successful. I want you to find what makes you happy, and I will love and support you forever for that. But the fact that I couldn't deal, it was a reflection on me and how I behaved in response to something that you were super excited about and really gung-ho about was completely ridiculous. And it is something that I'm working on. And I was like, I just needed to say that. I know that we've moved forward. Like, so it was like good. She was like, you're too critical of yourself. And I was like, yeah, duh. So like that was one thing that like came out of this weekend that was really good. And like another thing that they said was like, that they said about that was like the 2%ers, they take responsibility and they ask for forgiveness. And I don't actually think that I have a hard time doing that. I don't think that I'm bad about taking responsibility or really asking for forgiveness. I'm bad about like letting it go on my end. And like even Shannon was like, you're too critical of yourself. Like your friendship means more to me. Like you mean more to me than anything else. It doesn't like, it's fine. Like I still love you. Thank you for that. And I was like, no, but like I needed to do this. So yeah, that was rough. And then like she just talked a lot about, and this was all before lunch, like she just talked about like forgiving and how how forgive means to release. It means to let go. It means you no longer owe me anything. And when you release, when you forgive, then that person owes you nothing. And the weight that's lifted off of your shoulders when you admit that, when you allow that to be part of your life, it's like breathing oxygen for the first time. And you need to do that for yourself as well. And I think we all forget. Like she said, when you don't forgive, you've forgotten your own faults. And so I think that like that happens when you don't forgive yourself too. Like you need to do that as well. And that's when she said something like, is beating myself up creating a success? And if the answer is no, then let it go. I say it all the time. I'm like, yo, just channel your inner Elsa and let it go. But like, I don't practice what I preach. So that was I know we're at like 30 minutes, but like that was just before lunch. Like that was not even, so we had a lunch break from 12:45 to 1:15, and then from 1:30 until 3:45, and then from 4 to 5:30 we went again for 2 more sessions. And there was another session at 7:00 that I was like, tap out, like sorry, like people were like, if you miss this, it's like a shame on you. And I was like, look, I'm just crossing a few bridges here. I'm not really ready for that. And if you're not really open for that, I think the fact that I admit that I'm not like open and ready to cross those bridges speaks more about me, because I'd sit there and be like, well, why am I here? Like this is a waste of my time. And I don't feel like that right now. So. Everything she said. So like, I know Erin, like I listened to a lot of what Dani said so far is what she said in those free podcasts. Like there's been more, but there's a lot that's touched on in those free podcasts. And like for people who podcasts do it for them, and like that's what they like for personal development, like go back and re-listen. So hold that right there. So Claudia, if you go to DaniJohnson.com, you can sign up for the free podcasts. So after my first Dani event, I had the team go through some of the Dani Johnson stuff, because I was the same way as Kait. Like it was just life-changing. There was so many things going through my head. I didn't know what to tackle first. I just knew that I loved everything I was hearing, and it was changing who I was becoming, that I wanted to share it. So start there. I know you're fine. And Kait, go back
and listen to the podcast on your drives, because it's going to remind you of stuff. Because what happens is same thing as like Summit. Like you're on such a high and all these things are going through your head, and then you fall back into life habits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's free. You can do it, all of it for free. You get access to her like daily show.
You should go like YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's YouTube, but I know you can get it. You can get an email, get on the email list, and get to her website. But just look for it. It's Dani, DANI, Johnson.com. Yeah. But sorry, go ahead, Kate.
No, that's okay. I in one of my notes I wrote, Dani is not making me want children. She's like giving birth, and how she was talking about how if it's not hard, there's no good result. And she had 5 children, and she was talking about like literally giving birth. And I was like, yeah, I don't know that hard is something that's worth it to me.
That's what they create drugs for.
Yeah. I was looking for something else. But now it's slipped my mind.
Oh, it's called Grooming the Next Generation. It just hit. I can take a picture of the book. I don't know if you can get it somewhere other than Dani. I got it though. I think maybe you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'll buy it. Oh,
yes.
So something that drove me crazy about her podcast that I was always like, why are you saying this? She would like always be like, do you understand? And she literally says that in all of her talk. Like I don't even know how to explain this, but she was like talking just about life and the things that she's been through, and like, and she'd go on and on about how like her what she thought was her father, who's really her stepfather, her adopted father, had like abused her and abused her sisters and her mothers, and to the point where her mother's face was unrecognizable and black and blue and swollen, and she'd stop and be like, do you understand? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, she said that through the podcast. It was one of the things that drove me up a wall. But like in context now, seeing her, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, her life is crazy. How did she succeed? How did she succeed? Because no, I can't honestly believe that anybody else that's ever been through the things that she's been through would succeed the way that she has. I can't believe that.
Oprah is another prime example.
I know, but it's just.
I know. It's like anything, like rape, drugs, addiction, abuse, all of it. She went through all of it.
She almost sold herself. She offered herself up for prostitution to try and make money for drugs. She almost gave herself up to not Playboy, but another magazine for a one-day photo shoot that was going to make her $25,000. Like, she was offered that. 4 days later, snorted her first line of cocaine. A day after that, was offering her body as a prostitute to try and get cocaine. Couldn't get cocaine. And 4 days later, made $2,000 from a freaking telephone booth on Hawaii. When she didn't have a cell phone, she didn't actually have any product to give to anybody. And she didn't, when she finally got the money of the people that they agreed to like buy this product off of her, she had to go to their houses and like basically show up with no product just to continue to create that relationship, and then sent the money after they wrote her the check, sent the money to the company to get it sent to where she was living out of her car. Like, how? And then for me to sit here on my privileged little toadstool and be like, my mommy and daddy are still together and love me and support me and paid my cell phone bill until I was 28. I have a master's degree that I financed on my own, and I'll pay my student debt for that forever unless I figure out a way out of it. But I still got my degree. Like, yes, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, but I got my degree. I have a boyfriend who loves me, who has no student debt and has great credit and is going to buy us a house. I own a car. I pay my car insurance. I don't bounce checks. I'm making payments on all my bills. Like, okay. She had all of those things. I have an address that shit gets sent to me. I have a cell phone that people contact me on. I have internet access every damn place I go, even if it's a McDonald's. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know where this is from, but somebody said it, and it's like a phrase that I use every once in a while. I'm like, look at your life, look at your choices. Oh, I do know where it's from. Never mind. It's a YouTube thing. But look at your life. Look at your choices. Like, I need to I'm like seriously considering like figuring out how to go talk to like a therapist, because I clearly have some shit that I need to work through.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I know exactly how you're feeling, because that's why Dominique and I didn't go to the spiritual thing on the first night, because I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like, do I start with the debt? Do I start with myself? Do I start with, and like I came to the conclusion that we focus on the area that is causing us the most stress.
Yeah.
Hi, bud.
So that brings me to like, this will be the one last thing I want to say. I don't want to make this like.
I'm going to mute it just because the kids are back, but I'm listening. Go ahead.
I could go up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I have 11 more pages of notes, but this is how I want to end this. You need to focus on what you want. You need to get committed. And you need to look at a problem as a task list. The 2%ers don't look at problems with their emotional baggage attached to them. The 2%ers look at a problem as a task list with no emotion attached to it. Looking at your problems as though they're A, B, C, and D of checklists that you need to go through gives you direction, and it allows you to get busy on your task list. It doesn't create the emotional baggage that the 98%ers create that goes with their problems. So when you have a problem, try to stop, breathe through it, look at it as, this is my problem. End of story. This is what it is. A, B, and C are how I'm going to tackle that problem. And when you find yourself in the middle of that problem, you're going to at least do something. You're not going to complain about it. You're not going to become complacent about it. You're not going to be emotional about it. You're going to get to your problem. You're going to create your task list, and you're going to get to work. Because that is what the 2%ers do. They don't tie their emotions to their problems. They find a way to create a task list for their problem that's going to help alleviate the problem. End of story. And I'm probably number one, notorious for tying my emotions to everything, especially my own problems. So when you have a problem, stop. Take a breath, figure out what A, B, and C are going to be on your tasks to alleviate that problem, and get to work. That's what you need to do. That's what I need to do. And I say you, but I mean I. That is what I'm going to do. So I literally could go on for 11 more pages of notes. But this is, it's as good as Summit, but on some levels, it's so much better.
Summit only talks about the Beachbody business. Dani addresses you as an individual, making improvements in you in your life, applying it to your personal life as well as your professional life. That's my interpretation. Like Dani's more of an all-encompassing, because I feel like where a lot of us are is we're still trying to figure out who we are and what we want.
Because it comes down to what I said 45 minutes ago now. Your business are your relationships. People are the ones spending money. If they don't like you, if they don't like their experience with you, they're not spending money on you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter. Business is your relationships. Period. End of story. So you need to dig deep into who you are and how you build relationships and how you develop yourself and who you believe who you believe yourself to be and how you present yourself. And if you don't do any of that, your relationships are.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. My connection.
Are you still there? Oh, there you go. Okay, you're back.
Sorry. So, but yeah, your relationships are bullshit if you don't. Yeah, it keeps jumping. I have full. Whatever. So,
we can still hear you. Your face freezes every once in a while, but you can still hear you.
But no,
this is the event that Summer and Chad went to probably 8 years ago. That was the first thing that actually changed their business. This was the slap in the face for them, and they've missed very few Dani's after that. I think they went for straight like 5 years, something like that. You're muted and frozen on my end now, Kate.
Yeah, that's because I didn't want you to hear my elephant of a.
Oh, they didn't announce where the next Dani is, right?
No.
I think they do that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, Paul has already asked, and like, I would love. I texted Kelly Hogan and like Sarah and Cassie and like. I know that everybody's got their thing, but yes, everybody should go to this, and everybody should have this experience. And like, I worry for I hate to talk about her because she's not on the call, but I worry for Paula because of that experience we had at Summit with Summer's thing. And Paula was like, this makes me really uncomfortable. Let me tell you what, you get really uncomfortable at Dani's thing. And there's no leaving there. You don't walk out of that. Like, you just don't. So you got to be ready. You have to be ready to, if like, I don't really have, like, whatever, I'll cry in front of you guys. I'll cry in front of whoever, like whatever. Like, I am pretty comfortable with who I am. Like, I know my faults. I need to work through how to break that wall. But if you're not ready to like really dig into who you are and get uncomfortable with strangers, you need to get to that point before you can really open your heart to what this is. Mm-hmm. I'm planning on coming to another one of these. I don't know what I need to do. Like, this has been lovely and convenient because I'm staying in my cousin's house. Like, I have no living expenses. Like, I lucked out, but I need to whatever I need to do. I need to be like that 17-year-old and bust my ass for the next 6 weeks and make $5,000. Like, screw you, you little 17-year-old.
Yeah, but this is also something that we can cram 7 people in a single hotel room. Like, cost shouldn't necessarily be the issue or the factor. It's going to be about where it is and it fitting on people's calendars based on work schedules. It would be probably more of anything. I'm so thankful that I just took a leap. I'm so thankful that you did too, because I love you, Erin. It's a nice refresher for me.
Even when you got back and you were like, listen to this, and I started to listen to this, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it, and you were like so gung ho, and like now I get it. Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's really hard until you're in that room. It's the same thing with like Tony Robbins or like a few of those types of people. Like, when you're in the space with them and you hear it from them, it's like even reading back through the notes, it doesn't give it as much power as when you're sitting in the room hearing it, and that energy and people around you crying, and like people are releasing stuff, and like people keep coming back because you're at different stages in your life, ready to hear different things.
Yeah, like the woman on the side of me has been to like 5, and she still was like, I still am working on letting go of my ego. Oh, the forgiveness thing? Wait a second. So let me rewind. Sorry. So after we did our own like group of 8 circle release your ego thing, and she had all the newbies stand up and say that like the woman that was going to walk up to you was going to be representative of every woman who's ever talked shit, who's ever stabbed you in the back, who's ever been negative, who's ever put you down, who's ever physically abused anything. Like any person that has been hurt by a woman that was new to First Steps needed to stand up, and anybody that has previously been to First Steps came up to you, like one woman came up to me and was like, at first it was fine because it was like, I'm sorry for the negative things that women have said to you. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for that. And then it just like struck a nerve. She was like holding my hand. And it was like, crap. I just stopped crying. And then like waterworks started all over again. And these people know nothing about you. They don't know your story. They don't know anything. So the woman goes and sits down. Then they have you stand up if a man has hurt you in any way, shape, or form. And then some random guy that's been through First Steps comes over and talks to you too. And like this guy that came to talk to me, like he's probably between my parents and my grandfather's age. And he was like, I'm sorry for any man that he knows nothing about me. Like, he said things that would tap on to like probably anybody that's ever been in a relationship that wasn't always the most positive relationship, but like I have been assaulted by men. I have been a rape victim. Like I have gone through these things that I've never admitted to anybody. And he was saying these things. It was like just a weight off your shoulders to look at that person and be like, I forgive you and I release you, like, and mean it. My internet connection is terrible here. Keeps popping up. Sorry, but it was just like a lot of awesomeness all at the same time. So everybody should go to something like this. Even if Dani's not your cup of tea, fine. Dani's not your cup of tea. Then go to Tony Robbins. Find a way to get to these things because every human has shit they need to work through. And these other humans are giving you a way to do that. So that's all I got, Erin, for now.
I second all that.
That's a lot.
I'm excited. It's tons of stuff. Definitely write up your notes, Kate, so that you have places to refer back to it, even if it's on the plane ride home. I'm very curious to see how you feel after tomorrow and the next day because you have 2 more days. And like how, I gotta maybe, hold on, my kids are going by. 1 second, they're gonna cry. Hold on.
Just another reason I don't want my own.
No, they just took long naps today, so we kept them up a little later so that they'd maybe go to bed, but it's just getting them upstairs. They're actually not that bad. But I agree. I think finding something that is an additional personal development to, like, if you're stuck, where are you stuck and who can help you move towards that? And
like Teresa talks all the time about how she can't finish the books. Get to an event. Period.
Correct.
End of story. Like,
yep.
Figure it out.
Yep.
Because it's turned my world upside down.
Then mission accomplished. And that's what I was hoping, but I didn't, hoping because that's how I felt when I was there. And everybody's experiences, I remember I looked at Summer after my first one. She's like, you okay? I'm like, I have so much to work on. It was just like, I just didn't know what else to say. So I'm excited. We can do this tomorrow night too. I'll be around Monday too. I'd love to, each night hear kind of some of the thoughts and stuff spinning through your head. And I definitely write down some goals of things, action plans of stuff that you want to do once you leave.
Yeah, I probably need to work on that with somebody.
Yeah.
That's a lot more successful than me. Oh, did I say that? That like, I know I made a note of it, but like, that was another thing that like, I was like, damn, Dani, damn. She was like, where is it? Hold on, I really want to find this. Okay. The thing she said was like, if you have a problem and you go and you ask somebody about that problem, like, is the person that you're asking for their solution to your problem an expert in your problem? So if you are asking somebody about a relationship and they have not had a successful relationship, why the fuck are you asking them about relationships? Like, I was like, yeah, that, duh. Like,
that one hit me hard because we have a lot of people in our life who are constantly trying to pull us back to kind of their level.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what success looks like in our business or in our life because they've been comfortable their whole life. So we too are searching for those like 5 people who are going to influence and push us in a different direction.
Yeah. So like the three things I've got written that were like, boom, are those people that are offering their opinion and an expert about your problem, and if not, why are you listening to them? Look at the quality of life that you're allowing to influence you, and if it's mediocre, then what the fuck are you doing? And do your mentors prove to you that they know what they are doing? Do your mentors prove to you that they know what they are doing? Are they experts? And all I could think about was Summer. Sorry, Erin.
Mm-hmm. I went straight to Summer. Yeah. Because the second that I heard Dani, I was like, Summer, I want what you have.
Yeah. Same.
And that's why I've gravitated to Summer so much over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because her values, her ability to teach, her wanting to teach, regardless of where you are in her downline, she gives you her hand. Yeah. Say, come with me, come.
Yeah.
I take zero offense to that. I'm like, I second, third, fourth that. Summer is a phenomenal person to follow.
It doesn't even matter. Like, are those people that are offering their opinions about what you're doing? It doesn't matter how close they are to you. Spencer offers his opinion about what Beachbody all the time. Is he an expert in Beachbody? No. Is he an expert in fitness right now? No. Is he an expert entrepreneur? No. Why am I love him. I can still love him. Why am I allowing his opinion of what I want to do, of something that is meaningful to me, sway me? And I do. It throws my train off the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, relationships. My parents have been married for 31 years. They're now living 8 hours apart. And it works. It's not perfect. Like, I love them. But why am I asking them for relationship advice? Do they have what I want in 31 years? Hell no. Like, I was like, wow, that is so simple. Yet so yes. Like, yeah, like, do the people that you're looking up to prove that they know what they're talking about because they have everything that you want to have? They have the success that you want to have. Like,
if you're not looking up to a mentor within our business that has success, like I hate to say it this way because I'm not trying to put down anybody. Like if Nick, my downline, who I love to pieces, if he's looking up to me, why? I've been in this business for 3 years. What do I have to show for it? Oh, not much. Other than I'm still here. And I'm still fighting. And I'm still working through it all. But do I want him to go through what I've gone through? Hell no. Hell no. And Summer says that all the time. She's like, don't let it take 8 years, dummies. Oh, there was something. Yeah, okay. I could go on for hours. I don't want to keep you guys up.
No, but I think leaving on that note is that you find that coach that you connect with, whether it's on our team or another team, whatever it is, and that their values are in line with your values. Those are the people you start leaning in with. And I quickly realized for me personally, Summer became that person. And that's when I started moving our entire team to Team Courage and pushing it over. And I was like, I believe in her path, and who she is as a person. Because she's the same person on social media as she is in real life.
Yeah.
There's no blurred lines there. And I reached out to her. I reach out to her all the time, and she's always responding. It could be her assistant, but that's okay. There's a communication coming back. If I need something, I can get to her, So, yeah.
It's been like Summit leaves me feeling great because I love all of you. It's like, I don't know, like it's like my sternum's been cracked open. My heart's been exposed. Like,
I think that's a very fair analysis of how I felt.
So,
and it's going to
retreat.
What'd you say, Paula or Claudia?
It's like going to a retreat.
Yeah.
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 And if it's not Dani that does it for you,
but I just
get to whoever does it for you, because this is the real shit. This is the meaningful shit. This is the stuff that makes your life worthwhile.
Well, I'm proud of you for taking action with Shannon. Take the pieces that you're learning and put them into action. Put a plan in place so that you take these tools that you're learning. And you're going to keep hearing more tomorrow. And I don't want you to forget what you're going through today as you go into tomorrow, because she'll tackle other stuff tomorrow and then new stuff on Monday. So just think about a few pieces, and because you can't tackle all of it, not all at the same time, but try to take a few things and figure out where you want to start. That would be my best advice with all of this stuff, because then maybe you can get a little sleep too.
Yeah.
Okay.
My like computer. Oh, it's only. Oh wow, it's. I was thinking it was late. My. Sorry, Claudia.
Only 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's 8 o'clock here. We're good.
My computer time hasn't changed from East Coast, but so it's only 10:15 here, and I was like, oh shoot, it's 11:15. I need to go to bed. I need to be up. I need to shower. But it's not. It's still early.
Yeah, but you still should get some sleep, because your head's going to be spinning, and tomorrow will be another emotional day, I'm sure. I feel like day one's a lot more on the heavy emotion. I feel like if I remember, day 2 is a lot more action.
Yeah.
Like plan steps. They talk about debt a lot more. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, but
it's really a simple formula. It really is. And it's so simple that it's kind of disgusting, but it's just a matter of taking action and doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard step for everybody.
Well, today you'll be proud and you'll understand more tomorrow. But we, Central Air is finally installed. So we have all these portable AC units. We took a TV down because we had 3, because we needed 3. And they're all being posted online to sell it. We can easily make $1,000 by the end of the weekend if all this stuff moves. Like,
yeah. Oh,
$1,000 towards debt.
a couple spoke today. They didn't even talk about what they do or anything like that, but
They never do. Yeah.
I don't even remember what they said other than they went from overspending like $270,000 they spent when they only made $250 that year to spending $23,000. I called Spencer on lunch and I was like, I don't care what you say, but this is applicable to every aspect of our lives.
She'll have you print out your bills, not at the event, but when you get home, and actually go line by line. Where is your money going? So you're going to get a pay raise, like you get a $20,000 pay raise, but you are no further along than you were the year before. So where did that $20,000 go?
Yeah, well, that's what I know where my money goes. I know to be better about where my money goes. My concern is with Spencer's now pay raise is like, no. He's like, let's buy a house. I need a new car. No. No. Like, let's live the way we've been living and put that extra $30,000+ into savings. Like, let's not be stupid about this.
Well, you'll come home with some great tools that you can sit down and share with him and hopefully come up with a family plan of some sorts. You know, that's the goal, so that you teach. You teach about all the war on debt stuff.
Yeah. The other thing that I've been like watching and like the summer like conference thing, the like day started me thinking on it, and like I'm really hopeful that I get to a point of success of like Summer and Dani, because I think I could kill at like events like this. Like that like kind of ignites my fire. Like it's something that like I'm like starting to become like more and more passionate, and like so maybe I never get to that extreme, but like I hope to get to the point. I'm going to work to get to the point where I have a team under me that I can ignite their fire. Because that's cool when you can influence people like that. Like, it's unreal.
Absolutely. And you're getting all these nuggets from all these different people, and it's going to filter into how to make Kait the best Kait possible. It's exciting.
Scary, but yes.
You're going to be uncomfortable for a while. I have a feeling. I love it. Well, let's cut it because it's late and Claudia needs to go to bed.
Yes, and we said 30 minutes and it's been like an hour or more.
Yeah, that's how it always works. That's fine. That's why it's recorded. People can listen later.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing all of that. Oh, it's a party somewhere.
This is my house.
Oh, wow. Hi, people.
This is my son.
Hey.
All his buddies.
Are they playing Monopoly?
Claudia, what are you playing?
What are they playing?
What is it called? Sequence.
I knew it was Sequence. I love Sequence.
Oh, it's so fun. I love it too. Oh, okay. You gotta see the board.
I know what the board looks like. I played these.
Sabrina, his girlfriend, made it for him.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my house tonight.
It's a good game. I really like it.
Yeah, hopefully you can sleep through it. Oh, that's a
Lots of your
necessity.
kids too. I carded them all when they walked in.
Oh, good. And they're not driving home. It should be good. Well,
Thank you
perfect.
for letting me listen.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Sounds like very, something I'd be interested in doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm 50. I haven't given up on myself yet,
You
though.
got 40 more
When
years.
Danny came to San Diego and my mom came with me. She wasn't ready to hear it, though.
No.
She wasn't. I wanted her so bad to be ready to hear it, and she just started making excuses upon excuses right after. I'm like, you didn't hear anything. She wasn't.
That book Paul and I are reading, you guys should read that too.
One? I started to read that. I was actually
What's it called again? The Golden what?
The Golden Ticket. The guy who spoke at Summit's book.
Yeah, Brendan.
Can you get it on audio?
Yes, you can.
Probably it's on
I
Amazon.
know you can.
He was actually giving it away free this past week.
Okay, because I need more audiobooks for car rides, because unless I'm on a plane or in the car,
I'm sure you can get it on audio.
No, I bought it on audio, and I'm not going to lie. I was only half listening to it, and then I started reading it because my neighbor that lives below me started to read it, and whatever. So I got the book for free, basically.
nice.
And,
Win.
and I started to read it, and I actually like reading this book. I will finish this book.
Okay. Good to know. Maybe I'll just order it on Amazon then.
But yeah, they do have it on Audible and Amazon Audio. Yeah, Audible.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stop.